You think you know Singapore?
It's time to reimagine. You think it's all skyscrapers?
Then what's this?
And this.
You think it's a small city?
Then there's this.
And this.
Even this.
Just when you think it's one big Zen, there's this. It's time to reimagine.
Like this. And this. Like this and this and
You think we're a city that never stops? We know how to relax.
Like this. And this.
You think it is one island?
You've got 64 surprises coming your way.
If you think it's all about the food,
You're right. But it's not just hawker. It's this. And this.
and this. Singapore. You think it's a country? A city?
An island?
Think again.
It's so much more!
I definitely would love to be there. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us for LIBOR Going Global webinar series. My name is Daniela Diaz, Chair of LIBOR Global Committee, and it's my pleasure to have you with us today. At LIBOR, we are committed to helping realtors expand their international reach and build stronger cross-border connections. Today's sessions continue that mission as we shine a spotlight on Singapore, a global hub for innovation, sustainability, and investment. We are especially excited because LIBOR recently signed a memorandum of understanding with the Singapore Estate Agents Association, SEAA. SEAA is now one of our Value MOU partners, and today's webinar is a wonderful example of how these international relationships create opportunities to learn, collaborate, and build bridges between markets. Did you know Singapore is consistently ranked among the top smart cities globally thanks to its Smart Nation initiative? By integrating technology into housing, transportation, and sustainable urban design, Singapore has become a global model for innovation and forward-thinking development. I would like to extend a very warm welcome to any SEAA members and office bearers who are joining us today. We are delighted to have you with us, especially that there is Friday night, right? Before we begin, a quick note. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the chat box. We will address as many as possible during the Q&A portion at the end of the program. Today, we are honored to be joined by our distinguished guest, Mr. Eugene Lim, CEO and 2025 President of SEAA. Mr. Lim served as a key executive officer for ERA Realty Network Pte., where he oversees the management of estate agency operations and supervises real estate salespersons. He's also ERA's primary contact with the Council of Estate Agencies on all matters related to licensing, compliance, and professional development. With over 34 years of experience in real estate agency and property development, including roles at publicly listed developers, DBS Land and Capital Land, Mr. Lim is a highly respected expert in Singapore property markets. He's frequently invited by television, radio, and print media for his professional insights, and he represents ERA in consultations with key government agencies such as the Ministry of National Development, Urban Redevelopment Authority, Housing and Development Board, and more. Mr. Lim holds both a Bachelor of Science in State Management and a Master of Science in Real Estate from the National University of Singapore. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Mr. Eugene Lim. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Daniela. Very good evening and very good morning, everyone in the US. I'm Eugene, and let me just share my slides first so I can start the presentation. Okay, so today we will be covering some things about the property market in Singapore. Okay, so before I continue, so my presentation will roughly take about 40 minutes, and maybe we will have some time to share and exchange our views on whatever you want to know about Singapore. All right, so very quickly, let me just cover a few things first. I want to share with you what is, I come from the Singapore Estate Agents Association. So anyway, tonight I'm assuming the position of coming to you as president, Singapore Estate Agents Association, and as Daniela earlier introduced me, I'm also the key executive officer of ERA Singapore. ERA Singapore is a real estate agency or broker, all right, in Singapore, one of the largest broker in Singapore. We have close to 9,000 salespersons. All right, close to 9,000 salespersons in our Singapore office itself. So we are quite a huge property real estate agency and broker in Singapore. Okay, so my agenda this evening, very simple. All right, I will focus on 3 areas in as regards to Singapore. All right, I would assume everyone knows where Singapore is, right? We are not China, all right? We are not part of China. We are in Southeast Asia, all right? We are a small city-state, small country, all right? So I think if you Google Singapore map, you can see where we are within Southeast Asia. Singapore works very closely with the United States. We have very close defense ties, economic ties. There are more than 3,000 US companies that have set up their base in Singapore. They use Singapore as a springboard to reach and to grow their business in Asia. So there are many corporate headquarters here in Singapore. Not only from the US, but we also have the Europeans and the Chinese. And so we are essentially a very global city here in this small island state. Okay. So I will cover 3 areas: residential properties, industrial and commercial properties. All right. So let's start. Okay, so the first thing you need to know is that there are government regulations. All right, so Singapore is quite a regulated country as far as government is concerned. Government regulates the real estate market to keep it stable. Our market is very stable. It rises progressively over time in tune with the economic growth. So there will be it does not move in there's very little speculation in our market, property speculation. So the market growth in price is relatively stable over time. Okay, but progressively, because we are a small country, land is very limited, demand for properties is increasing over time. So therefore, if you just do a simple projection and you look at the property prices over time, they tend to go up over time. So the property investment strategy in Singapore is very simple. We just call it the buy and wait strategy. What is buy and wait? Buy today, whatever price you are buying at, you just buy and you just wait. All right, you just wait. So in a few years, in a matter of, depending on the market conditions, in a few years' time, you will enjoy capital appreciation. It is that simple. All right, it is that simple. So the property investment game in Singapore is largely looking at capital appreciation, less from a return on investment point of view, right? Less on a return on investment. If you look at the yields and all that for property, you may not find it attractive compared to other parts of the world, maybe. All right. Why is this so? Because the capital value, the price that you pay for the property in Singapore is high vis-a-vis the rental that you can collect. So the returns may not be like high figures. It is just like for example, for residential property, the return is just 3%. All right, 3%. ROI is 3%. For commercial property, maybe about 5 to 6%. So that's your yield typically in Singapore. So most investors, they buy Singapore property is to earn capital appreciation. And why they go for capital appreciation? Because there is no capital appreciation or tax in Singapore, right? There's no, if you make profit, okay, there's no capital gains tax in Singapore. So if you buy a property, say at $1 million, sometime later, you are able to sell it at $1.5 million. All right, you make $500,000 in profit. There is no tax on your capital investment. Whether you are a local or a foreign investor, it is the same treatment. Okay. However, when you buy properties in Singapore, there are these things called stamp duty. Stamp duty is a tax on the purchase, the sale and purchase of the property, right? Let me just turn on my pen first so I can highlight. Okay, so the first thing you have to take note of is this buyer's stamp duty. So buyer's stamp duty applies to anybody who buys property in Singapore. So it is a tiered kind of tax. All right. So the higher the price, the more tax you pay is by tier. All right. So it applies to anybody who buys property in Singapore. All right. So for example, if you were to buy $1 million property, you are looking at 3% tax. All right. If you buy a $3 million property, you are looking at 5% tax on the capital sum, purchase price of the property. Okay. So this applies to everybody, whether you are Singaporean or you are foreigner. Okay, so then we move on to seller stamp duty. Seller stamp duty is a tax that what we use in Singapore to prevent what we call speculation. So there is up to 4 years. Actually, this my guys did not update this table. It's 4 years. It's a 4 years holding period. All right. So you buy a property, a residential property in Singapore, you have to hold it for 4 years. If you sell within the first year, then you have to pay tax. You sell within the second year, you also have to pay tax, seller's stamp duty. You pay tax based on this 12% is based on the selling price. Right? So you bought at 1 million, you sell at 1.5 million, you got to pay seller stamp duty, right, on the 12% on the selling price. Okay? So that's the tax. Then we have this killer, all right, called additional buyer stamp duty. Now, additional buyer stamp duty hits foreigners the hardest. Okay, so before you look at the red portion, look at Singapore citizen first. Okay, so for the first, additional buyer stamp duty means just now when you buy the property, you already paid buyer stamp duty, right? So ABSD is stacked on top of it. So in addition to the buyer stamp duty, are you liable to pay ABSD? All right. So for Singapore citizen, the first home that they buy, they don't have to pay ABSD. They only pay the buyer's stamp duty. But if they were to buy an additional home, the second property that they buy, then they pay the buyer's stamp duty plus 20% on top of it. Okay, so you buy at 1 million, you pay another 200,000 ABSD. All right, your third property onwards is 30%. Okay, so how does it look on foreigners? Foreigners is a straight off 60%. So if you buy a $1 million property in Singapore, it is going to be very expensive if you are a foreigner. Okay, 1 million, your stamp duty, buyer stamp duty is 3%. On top of it, you have to pay 60% ABSD. So 1 million, 60% is 600,000. All right, in additional buyer's stamp duty. I'm not kidding. It's not 6%, it's 60%. Okay, wow. So what does it mean? This means very, very few foreigners in today's market actually buy residential property in Singapore. All right. Of all the property transactions in Singapore, more than 90% are Singaporean buyers. Another 10% is PRs, Singapore PRs, and a small, very, very small percentage of foreigners. Now, why did I highlight you to the 60% foreigner tax? Okay, tax on foreigners for ABSD. Okay, because you guys, the US citizen, okay, US citizens are treated the same as Singapore citizens because of our free trade agreement. Okay, between our countries, we have free trade agreement. Okay, as long as President Trump don't mess it up. Okay, so just joking. So anyway, the existing free trade agreement, okay, enable you guys to be treated as the same, you guys as in US citizens, to be treated the same as Singapore citizens. That means you are exempted from the 60% ABSD. Okay, so this, like the Chinese buyers, okay, the people from China, they love to buy properties in Singapore before the tax was imposed. They would have to pay 60% ABSD. All right, but not the US citizen. US citizen follow the tax rate of the Singapore citizen. All right, so these 5 countries, because of our free trade agreement, they are treated the same as Singapore citizens. So this is a privilege, especially for US citizens. All right, if you or you have clients who are interested to look at Singapore residential property, which is a sure make money kind of investment. All right, you just buy and wait for the price to go up. Okay, then congrats, you are treated the same as Singapore citizens. All right, so there's no different from us. Okay, so that's important. So if we look at the foreigners who are buying properties in Singapore today, some of them, okay, are US citizens because they know about this tax remission, all right, and they actually save 60% compared to other foreigners. Okay, so that's important. So why should you be investing in Singapore properties? All right, okay, so I want you to think about this thing. Property is a long-term investment. It has to be sustainable in good and bad times. All right. So if you have a long-term investment that is sustainable in good and bad times, then what are the attributes that it must have? It must be stable. Okay. Predictable. The market is predictable. That means it's not volatile. It has to have constant growth. Okay. And it has to generate cash flow for you. So these 4 things are key ingredients of what we think, all right, you should consider seriously at a sustainable investment, whether in good times or bad times. Okay, so if you do some research on your own, I think nowadays it's quite easy to do research about Singapore. We are a very open country. You will find that we are normally you will see this word, safe haven. Okay, safe haven, a safe place to park your money. Okay, for wealth preservation. Okay, think of it. Anything you invest in Singapore, you make money. There's no capital gains tax. All right, so that's one good thing already. All right, you take risks, you invest, you make money. It's not going to be taxed. There's no capital gains tax. Of course, there's transaction tax like the stamp duties. All right, but other than that, it is a straightforward game. Buy, wait for price to go up, sell, and then you take your profit. Okay, so what makes it a safe haven? Okay, so there are 4 things. Number 1, the economy is very resilient. All right, so yes, we have ups and downs, but you will see that our economy is very stable. Okay, we are a global financial hub. Every major bank that you probably can think of is in Singapore. All right, so we are a major global financial hub. Many US companies set up their base here, European companies, Chinese companies, all the multinational companies, most of them have offices in Singapore. Okay, and government is very important. Our government doesn't really change, right? So it's not like the US. Every time after election, if you change your president, then you have the whole administration that could change. Ours don't really change. All right, it is yes, we have elections, but it's dominated by a single party, and majority of the government stays the same, pretty much the same, except the government officers, maybe they are changed. All right, but by and large, we are a stable country. Government does, the rule of law is clear. Very, in fact, low corruption or no corruption in Singapore. And historically, okay, later I'll show you some numbers and charts. You will see that you will always see this line. All right, it's always going upwards. So that's why I say it's a very simple strategy. If you see this kind of conditions, just buy and wait. Okay, a bit about the economy. You find that it is generally, all right, very stable. If you look at the recent times, post-COVID, we are doing about 4% growth average a year. Okay, this year, due to the you know what, okay, or I should say thanks to you guys and China, all right, we are slowing down in growth. All right, so it's expected, but we are still doing well. Okay, we are still doing well. Okay, unemployment rate, it's low in Singapore. Generally, we are looking at not more than 3%. All right, again, these are post-COVID figures. All right, so this is good. All right, it means there's no unemployment or very little. For a mature economy, if you have less than 3% unemployment, it is considered what you call transitional unemployment or full employment. All right. We have a very high savings rates, almost 40%. Okay, which means what? We have a lot of cash. All right, we have a lot of cash stashed up. So properties in Singapore, they are not cheap. All right, so Singapore dollars is about, okay, nowadays, right, for condominiums, I'm talking about the class of properties that you foreigners can buy, will be $1.5 million Singapore, 1.5 million Singapore dollars upwards. Entry level is about 1.5 million. All right, so if you take the exchange rate, maybe it's about, right, okay, about $1 million US dollars. Okay, but financing is available. all right, up to 75%. Okay, Sing dollar is very strong, all right. There's this indicator that we look at called NEER. So a positive or increased NER indicates the appreciation of the currency against the basket of currency of its trading partners. So in general, you find that the Sing dollar. Okay, so one way is that when you buy properties in Singapore, it's in Sing dollar. So you buy today, there's an exchange rate, but when you sell later on, there's also an exchange rate. So when the Sing dollar gains against your currency, then you find that you also make money, all right, against you make more money, all right, when you sell. Okay, so businesses and the rich people choose Singapore for its safety and security. Okay, we have this thing called single family offices in Singapore. These are the what you call home office, okay, family offices of the rich people. All right, there are some almost 1,700 of these home offices, family offices in Singapore. Okay, there are 3,500 millionaires. Okay, we added 3,500 millionaires in the year 2024. So compared to other places, okay, US is 3,008. So comparatively, a small country like us, okay, have added 3,500 millionaires in 2024 itself. Okay, so high level of real estate transparency. Okay, so we're very transparent, nothing to hide. Anything I tell you, you can find. Okay, you can find it online. All right, the data that I use to present to you can be found online in Singapore. Okay, we publish all the real estate data. It is made available to the public. It is made available, of course, for professionals like us. We have it in more detail. But for the general public, anybody at all, they are able to access all the data, look at it, prices. They are very well informed. They can even look at our planning, the master plan, okay, of Singapore. So government plays a very key role. So a stable government helps, right? So our ministers, they don't change much, all right? They just change their portfolio, but okay, the government steps in to ensure a stable and sustainable market in the long term. What we don't want is a volatile property market, which is very painful for everybody. All right, so stability, price growth together with economic growth. All right, so you will not have a bubble in Singapore. It's a steady growth. So that's why the buy and wait strategy is very easy game to play in Singapore. Okay, we have the master plan. Okay, master plan. Master plan tells you about town planning in Singapore. What the whole country, how we allocate land for different purposes: residential, commercial, industrial, parks, recreation, infrastructure. All right, you can even use your property address to check what is your zoning and what is the plot ratio that you're allowed to build. So this information is public. Anybody in Singapore or even overseas, if you know the website, you can go in and check. All right, the master plan. And this master plan is revised once every 5 years. So actually, we in Singapore know what will happen progressively over time. All right. So for example, if there's an empty piece of land across the road where I stay, all right, the very big question is what is going to be built over there in the future. All right. Now it's empty plot of land. It's a huge plot of land. I want to know what is going to be built there next time. All right. So by looking at a master plan, I will already know. Okay. For example, this piece of land is zoned commercial. All right. Commercial. Commercial means it could either be an office or retail. All right. A shopping center that is coming up just across the road. All right. So I will know this information well ahead of time. So that's why in Singapore, when we buy properties, we also follow closely the master plan. The master plan informs us what will happen, how the neighborhood will transform, okay, in the next 10, 15 years. So there's always what we call a growth story. Okay, so we know well ahead of time what will happen. So in Singapore, you'll ask this question, what will happen if it doesn't happen? So from historically speaking, what is shown on the master plan will tell you what will happen over the next 10, 15 years. And it does happen. Okay, whatever we put in plan, because the master plan is a statutory plan, it's passed as law. All right, so it's passed as law in Singapore. So it's statutory plan, we refer to it to look forward what will happen in Singapore. So by looking at a master plan, you can actually know what how your neighborhood will transform in the next 10, 15 years, or the area around you. All right, your whole town, your whole estate, you will know what's going to happen. So we have this so-called crystal ball, right, in advance. There's nothing left to chance. So when we put it into the master plan, it will materialize. Okay. So next important thing to note is that demand drives prices up, right? So we have a increasing population, all right? Population in Singapore has grown to about 6.04 million in June, all right? We will expect it to grow further, and this will continue to drive population, drive demand for properties. So we will be expecting about maybe 6.5 million, thereabouts, by about 2030, all right? So I've spoken about this. We use a mixture of regulations, planning to map out the future. All right. So all these can be found online. All right. If you Google Singapore Master Plan, all right, there will be a link to send you to the master plan. Okay. Then you can look at it. Right. So I'll focus on residential sector now before going to the industrial commercial sector. So generally, home ownership rate in Singapore is very high. Okay, if you take a stone and you throw at somebody, like probably you hit a home owner in Singapore. All right, so it's about 91% home ownership rate. Okay, so 9 out of 10 people own their homes in Singapore. Okay, so we also buy homes to rent to people. So earlier I told you that there are a lot of foreign companies in Singapore, right? So when foreign companies, they set up base in Singapore, they also bring in expatriate staff. Okay, the staff from their respective countries or from all over the world. Okay, you've come to Singapore before, you will notice that it's very, very global. All right, you will see not only Asian people, you will see a lot of people from the United States, people from Europe, all right, and all that. So it's a melting pot. All right, you can see. But we buy homes to live in. We also buy homes to invest in, all right, to rent out for rental income. So in Singapore, for residential property, we divide it into 3 areas, all right? So when you read news in Singapore, you read about property reports, it will normally be organized in 3 sectors. Core Central Region, or the CCR, okay? Then we have the CCR means the prime location. Okay, prime location is Singapore. This is where residential properties are the highest price in terms of quantum. All right. So for example, a 3-bedroom, okay, a 3-bedroom apartment in say about 3-bedroom apartment in Singapore nowadays is not very big. All right, it's about maybe 1,200 square feet. All right, 3-bedroom apartment in the core central region. Okay, maybe in the region of $3 million. All right, 3 million Singapore dollars. All right, so rest of city fringe is rest of central region is called the city fringe. That means just outside of the city center. So this is called city fringe location. All right, so the next best place to buy a property because it's near to town. All right, and then for most Singaporeans, the entry level, okay, will be in outside central region. So if you look at Singapore map, okay, it is organized in this way. Okay, historically, last time we were a British colony. So when the British first started in Singapore, in the 1800s, all right, we were a trading trading establishment. Okay, a trading base for them. So this is their base camp. Okay, this is their base camp. So that's why historically in Singapore, it grows from the city. All right, grows from the city. But we are so small, everywhere is accessible. From the east to the west, okay, east to the west is only 42 kilometers. I'm sorry, we use kilometers in Singapore, so you have to convert it to miles. Okay, we drive from east to west. All right, takes us maybe half an hour, 30 minutes. All right, maybe you drive slowly, it's 40 minutes. Okay, north to south, less than that, maybe about half an hour.
Mr. Eugene, you know that's so funny because on Long Island you can drive 30 minutes and go 5 miles maybe. So it's so funny to hear that.
Yeah. So we are a small country, but we have a very comprehensive network of train subway. All right. We have a very comprehensive subway system. We also have a very comprehensive system of expressways, or what you call freeways. And our freeways, you can drive pretty fast. We can go up to 90 kilometers per hour. All right. Again, you have to convert it to miles. I'm not sure how you do it. Okay. So anyway, these are the categories of residential properties in Singapore. Public housing is for Singaporeans, so you guys are out. Executive condominiums is not for you. It's a hybrid. Okay. Also for Singaporeans. So this is the category that you can buy, condominiums. Okay. And landed homes is not for you unless you become, there are a lot of stringent criteria, okay, for a foreigner before they are able to buy a house on a piece of land. Okay. In fact, very difficult to obtain the approval. So only one category for foreigners to buy without any restriction in that sense. The only thing you have to overcome is the high price what you call high price and the tax that you have to pay. Okay, so more Singaporeans have been buying properties over the years. Okay, like I said, it's majority dominated by Singaporeans because it's 91% home ownership in Singapore. Okay, so we view property not as a speculative investment, but as a home over our heads, as a home, and also as a income generating property. We buy for rental, buy to rent out. Okay, home prices has been on the rise. So this is the property price index. You can get it again on the internet. All right. So you find that's why we say it's a buy and wait strategy. So for foreigners, you should be looking at this red one, which is the non-landed line. Okay. All right. So next, industrial and commercial properties. All right. So these categories of properties, foreigners can buy without any restrictions. Okay. There's no restriction on foreign ownership of industrial and commercial properties in Singapore. So most of the foreigners will buy for investment. They buy to rent out. They also buy to wait for capital appreciation later on. So industrial property, excuse me. Okay. Industrial property in Singapore generally is classified as business 1 and 2. These are factory spaces. Okay, again, factory spaces in Singapore, they are high rise due to our land scarcity. All right, so these can be bought and sold in the open market. Commercial properties generally refers to shop houses, okay, office space, and retail shops. So you can buy a shop in a shopping center for investment. You can also buy medical suites. We have designated complexes where it's all medical suites. So you buy to rent out to a clinic. Okay, so why should you invest in this category? Most businesses use Singapore as a hub. Sorry, yeah. I'm having a. So most businesses, they use Singapore as a hub to springboard to tap on Asia's growth markets. All right. So again, it's a base camp. Many multinationals are here. You also can rent out to small businesses who are tapping on the Asia market. Okay, so because of the importance of commercial properties in Singapore, the government is committed to support these companies. Okay, the ongoing competition between US and China and whatever, taxes that's coming our way has caused a lot of disruption, okay, and pain, okay, to local companies. So very quickly, our government has stepped in to support the local companies, all right, through enhancement, okay, and to so-called cushion any negative impact. So our government is very proactive and quick to act, okay. So yes, we are prepared. We are well prepared for this long-drawn competition between the US and China. Okay, so industrial property prices and rents, they are generally on the rise. So again, if you buy, you rent out due to scarcity, rents do appreciate over time. Again, you find that you can collect increasing rentals in line with market movement. Office rents also rise even though the capital value has fallen. So it's an opportune time to invest in office units. You can buy a whole floor of offices, okay, and you can rent them out in the CBD, okay, in our central business district to offices, all right, that operate in the CBD area. Rents is generally on the rise, okay, because demand is high. Okay, retail is also very stable. Okay, retail business, I don't know, but I suppose everywhere in the world, retail business is affected by the online business. All right, we all go to the shops to try and then we buy our stuff online. So same thing affects the local market here. So the only thing that's thriving very well in Singapore is the F&B, food and beverage business. All right, there you find that for normal retailers selling clothes, selling sports equipment, all that, you lose out to the online competition, right? So, but for F&B, I think you ever come to Singapore, you'll be spoiled for choice. There's so much to eat, right? So many variety and so many different kinds of food and drinks. So, yes, F&B is very vibrant in Singapore, and that's key. One of the key drivers of rents for retail premises. All right, so you will find that in Singapore we have this category called shop houses. Shop houses are those built along in the city center a long time ago, pre-war. Very old shop houses, but because they are in the city center, they are alternative types of offices. You attract very good tenants. All right, they normally people buy these for investment, buy, sell, and you can make quite good money from shop houses. Okay. So in summary, residential, commercial, industrial, there's additional buyer's stamp duty only for residential, commercial, industrial, no ABSD. Okay, but for you guys, US citizens, there's no ABSD. So don't wait. You are treated the same as Singaporean. All right, don't have to pay the 60%. Your Chinese national, okay, have to pay 60% ABSD. So they have stopped buying. Only very few of them will come and buy. All right. Previously, our largest group of home buyers in Singapore were the Chinese national. Okay, but they have stopped because of the 60% ABSD. All right. So all right. So that's essentially it. And goods and services tax, okay, for commercial and industrial, is loaded on this 9%. Okay, this tax is 9%. It's loaded on your purchase price. Okay, because it's an industrial or commercial property. All right. So financing, important. You can deal with any bank in Singapore or any global bank like Citibank. All right. They are well ready and willing to lend you money, right, to buy property in Singapore. All right. Okay. So which option makes the most sense to you? I think if you need more information, always, if you have clients, all right, feel free to contact us. All right. We will probably take you through. All right. But you have to be prepared. Prices are pretty high in Singapore relative to what you see in the US. Okay. But it's a buy and wait game. You don't even have to wait too long. Okay. Normally, we buy new projects. That means projects under construction, new launches. Within 3 years, when the building is completed, you probably can sell it for a profit. Okay, nowadays you have to wait 4 years because you want to avoid paying the seller's stamp duty. So after the 4th year, you buy today, after the 4th year, you offload it, you probably will be selling it at a higher price because number one, land prices have gone up. Number two, typically properties after completion, when they're new, there's a pool of ready buyers to buy them, okay, because they want to move in quickly. Okay, so there's two games to play. You can buy existing property, you can buy new launches. Okay, whatever it is for US citizens, you don't have to pay the 60% ABSD. All right, so that's all I have, short and sharp. If you need more information, please feel free to send me an email. All right, that will be my contact.
Thank you so much. It was so great to hear all these perspectives and knowledge that you have and share with us today. Let's take a few questions from the audience. If you haven't already, please type question in the chat box and we'll answer as many as we can. And thank you, Lim. Like Mr. Lim is awesome, like great presentation. Meanwhile, we reading some other questions. I have a question for you.
Okay. Sure.
Can you teach us, or can you tell us a little more about smart cities? Because I know Singapore is one of them.
Smart city.
With technology and because, yeah, like technology in transportation. You just mentioned something about subway. Everything was very close, right?
Yes. So, okay, you find that in Singapore, everyone owns at least a mobile device, right? We are a very connected and wired society. We are on 5G network, all right? Everywhere you go, there's Wi-Fi, okay? What you may not like is that there's cameras everywhere, all right? And so if we want to catch a criminal, it's very fast, right? But apart from that, we are very well connected and we can find anything that we want quite quickly through the internet. And for smart homes in Singapore, we are using quite a lot of, we use technology to help us save energy, save power. Okay, we are quite into, I know it's not the same in the US. We are very into electric vehicles, EVs. Okay, so about 40% of the vehicles in Singapore, they are electronic vehicles, EVs. All right. There are charging stations everywhere. So we hope to, government has set a target that by 2030, okay, there will be no more, any new vehicle that is registered in Singapore will not be a fuel vehicle. It will be an EV or some form of hybrid vehicle. So not pure petrol gasless. So it's undergoing a lot of transformation in Singapore. I think some of you may have visited Singapore before. If you have come here 10 years ago and today you come here, you find that it looks totally different. Okay, it looks totally different because it is ongoing transformation. That's one of the benefits when you have a government that doesn't change, right? So wherever they promise you, they carry through, they carry through, they carry through. Not because when there's a change in administration, everything start all over again. It doesn't happen here. So that's one advantage. That's why when you come here, you always see progression, changes, right? And the city always looks different. Yeah. So
Singapore is
find
one of
that-
the places
you
I
find
would
that-
love to go.
Do you find
yeah,
that
if
more
you have not
people
come before,
are,
you should.
Do you find
It's
that more
summer all
people
year
are
round.
coming to retire there, or more like relocation for living?
Okay, so you look at YouTube, you will find that there are a lot of US citizens who have come to Singapore and they have made their homes here, and they'll tell you why. Okay, and they'll tell you why they choose to live here now. All right. These some of them they have lived all over the world, and they finally settle down in Singapore. They tell you why. All right. So I think except the heat, all right, except the heat because it's all year round summer, and it only gets hotter and hotter, all right, and wet lah. Okay, there are rainy seasons, but apart from that, your spot for choice, shopping, food, okay, anything you can think of, you can find in Singapore. It's a global city, right? And people here all speak English. We speak English, Mandarin, whatever. So it's quite easy to find your way around Singapore. It's not that big. Everything is well organized, all right? And if you don't know your way around, just ask people. They'll generally point you the right way. All right. It's very safe at night. You can walk around the street 3-4 a.m. at night. Nothing will happen to you. All right. Yeah. So
Someone in the chat wrote that the food scene is incredible. Also,
yes, I guarantee you will
can't
put on
wait.
weight if you come here.
What is the criteria to sell real estate in Singapore?
You have to be licensed. For a foreigner, it is very difficult, if not impossible, to get a license to sell real estate in Singapore because, from my experience so far, zero chance. You have to be a permanent resident first.
And then what's the process? How long is the schooling? Is it a certificate?
Okay, so to be for Singaporeans, we have to take a real estate course called the Real Estate Salesperson course. All right, it is a very what we call comprehensive learning package. It will take us maybe if you go to school every day, all right, you will finish it in maybe 2 weeks, full day course, but you have to take an exam. All right, the exam is only run 3 times a year. 3 times a year. So every time we hold an exam, we have a regulator in Singapore, the government body. It's called Council for Estate Agencies, CA. So they are the licensing authority and they are the regulator. So they set the rules. So every time you hold an exam, all right, you will see at least 3,000 people taking the exam. 3,000 people taking the exam. How many will pass? Less than 20%.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a hard one.
So the process is very long. To enter to become a real estate salesperson. So they've raised the bar pretty high. 10 years ago, the regulations in Singapore, licensing regulations in Singapore, only started in the year 2011. Before that, there is no licensing. So anybody can become a real estate agent. So back in those days, we have got many, like the US people, they come to work in Singapore, husband and wife, right? So the husband is working in the US company. The wife got nothing to do, become a realtor in Singapore. Back in before 2011 can do that, but now cannot. Right? Now you can't do that anymore. So last time you can. Yeah, it's easy last time. Now no more.
Can a U.S. investor become a permanent resident?
If you invest in Singapore, much easier. So that's why a lot of the rich people, they set up family offices in Singapore. So family offices have a set of rules. You have to have a certain amount of investable funds. And then it's a very quick way to get even citizenship in Singapore. Yeah.
Okay. And I have a question. Like you say that for foreigners it's very hard to get land, but for commercial we don't have any restriction. So if a commercial imply land, like for example, is we allowed to have it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, but when you come to a place like Singapore, don't think land and buildings. It's easier and more straightforward to buy a unit in a high rise. Yes, even factories are high rise, right? Factories, commercial spaces, they are high rise. So you buy a unit. I think I have a question there. Someone was asking, what's the capital appreciation rate? Judy is asking, what's the average capital appreciation rate in 4 years to avoid the seller stamp duty, not capital gains. Okay. So for example, if you buy a condo at launch, okay, after 4th year you sell, I think you would probably, the gain would probably be in the region of maybe 30% plus minus, depending on market conditions. All right.
Great. Good. Do we have more questions, Evan?
There was actually one more on the topic of the right of land. Is it freehold or leasehold?
Okay, majority of land is in Singapore is leasehold for a very simple reason. Our largest landowner is the government, all right, and they want to be able to recycle the land, so they do not believe in selling freehold, so they will sell you most of the land that is sold from the government is leasehold in nature. So for residential properties, 99 years leasehold. For industrial property, maybe 30 years or 60 years, depending on the type of industrial property. For commercial offices and all that is 99 years, right? Leasehold. So depending on where you buy, okay, then you are if you buy a completed project, then you have to check with the realtor how many years lease left in the leasehold. So we can easily check that online. For freehold, it's a rarity in Singapore. Very rare. Most of it is you have to buy from the open market. You can never buy anything that is freehold, that is the land originates from our government. Yeah, it's always leasehold. You have to accept it. You still can make money from leasehold. In fact, so because the majority of us do, right? So we buy. The strategy is very simple. You buy new launch, you hold for 4 years, you offload on the 5th year. That's your first exit point. If you can't exit at the 5th year because market conditions may have changed, right? I mean, I say 30%. What if it didn't go up 30%? Due to some external shock, the market is either straight line or it went down. It can go down, right? So if it goes down, no point you offload because you lose money, right? So you just wait for the next upswing, which may come in another few years. So that's why in Singapore, we look at it. Your first exit point is on the 5th year. Your next exit point may be on the 8th year or the 10th year. All right? Depends on what you want. And in the meantime, what you are doing, you're renting the property out, you generate cash flow. to help you pay for your mortgage. Simple game.
Thank you for the perspectives and the ideas of strategies and planning, right?
Yeah.
Do we have, I think we have one more question, right?
We have one more question. It's regarding home ownership. Is there home ownership? Homeowners insurance. I'm sorry. Is there homeowners insurance?
Homeowners insurance. Yes, you can always buy homeowners insurance. Insuring your home, is it? Or insuring the...
Yeah, insuring the home.
Yes, you can always buy them. Easy.
And that protects against like inclement weather and different things like that.
Oh, not necessary. No earthquakes, no flooding.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only insurance we buy to insure our home is fire insurance, which is a requirement because you take a mortgage from the bank. So the mortgagee will require you to take up a home insurance, which is the fire insurance. That's all.
Is there any insurance available for like flooding or earthquake or anything like that?
Like I said, you can buy, but it's not necessary. They've never had an earthquake. No flooding.
Probably not many
Flooding,
companies.
yeah, because we're all high rise. Nah, don't waste money.
That's true. It's all high rise. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have any more questions, right?
We're good to go.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
I hope, yeah. So if you have more questions or if you have clients who want to find out more about Singapore, do contact us. All right. I can also share your leads with my fellow SEAA council members. They're also all well-established realtors, right? So,
Perfect.
yeah.
Yes, of course. This is going to be recorded, and in our website, you can always find the recording, and it's open for everybody. So for the members of CAA too.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you everyone for being part of today's webinar. A special thank you again to Mr. Eugene Lim. He was fantastic today, and to all our colleagues from Singapore Estate Agents Association for making this session possible. Today's conversation shows how learning from one another help us create new opportunities and lasting relationships across borders. On behalf of LIBOR's Global Committee, we appreciate your time and we look forward to see you at our next Gone Global webinar. Have a wonderful day and thank you, Mr. Lim, again.
Thank you. Right. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Enjoy your Friday night now.
Yes.
You're stuck with us.
Bye-bye.